Hello my dear students, how are you? Okay, good morning to everyone. The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. So it is your choice that whether you have to study or not. Till now we completed many topics. I hope you all are studying and you are getting the answer also. That is why no one is asking the doubt and all. And today's class I am focusing two topics. One is the preparation of revaluation accounts, and the second topic is treatment of accumulated profits and losses. The first topic is preparation of revaluation account is when a new partner is coming to the firm. The old partners are checking that whether the asset and liabilities which are given in the balance sheet are in the correct figure or not. If it is not that, if some values are not correct, then for making it correct, they are making a new account. That account is known as a revaluation account. Okay, so we are going to our topic. Listen carefully. We are going to study revaluation accounts. Okay, so revaluation accounts. This account is also known as profit and loss adjustment account. Profit and loss adjustment account. This is the another name of revaluation account. This revaluation account is a nominal account. Revaluation account is a nominal account. The purpose of preparing this account is to revalue the asset and liabilities which is given in the balance sheet. When a new partner is joining to the firm, that old partners, they will analyze the value of assets and liabilities once again. If any assets or liability which is given in the balance sheet is not in the correct value, then they will change it. Because suppose the furniture, its correct value is 1 lakh, but in the balance sheet they mentioned only 80,000 only. So 20,000 rupees is less only shown in the balance sheet. The correct value is 1 lakh. But only 80,000 only now it is there in the balance sheet. So 20,000 rupees less is given in the present balance sheet. If they are not correcting the amount, if they are not writing before the admission, if they are not writing the value furniture as 1 lakh, if they are not writing, then in the future the new partner will get a benefit of this asset. Means if 80,000 they are showing instead of 1 lakh, it's a benefit a new partner will get in the future. So to avoid that situations, when a new partner is joining, then old partners, they will revalue the asset and liabilities. And if any changes are there, then they are preparing this account, the revaluation account. This is a nominal account. This is a preparing at the time of admission of a partner or retirement or death of a partner to find out the profit or loss arising from the revalue of assets and liabilities. So the result of this account will be either profit or loss. That is why this account is a nominal account. Then how we can make this account? This account in the credit side, this is the credit side and this is the debit side. This credit side we are using to show the profit. Okay. This side we are using to show the profit, and this side, right side, we are using to show the losses. Then when the profit will come, profit will be if the value of asset is increasing. If a value of asset is increasing, then it will be profit. For example, if the balance sheet, in the balance sheet, the value of asset is given 80,000. And the new value, they find out the new value that is coming 1 lakh. So here the value of asset is increasing. This is in the balance sheet and they are making 1 lakh as the amount. Now the value of asset is increasing. So this is the case of profit. Then another thing, here name of one asset is accrued income. Okay, here I did not give any name. That will be furniture, building, machinery, anything. Here I am writing another asset. Its name is accrued income. Accrued income. In the balance sheet, nothing is given. And when the partner is coming, they found that the value of some accrued income is there. Income they have to receive, it is 8,000. So this is known as unrecorded asset. In the balance sheet, this was not recorded earlier. Now we are going to record 8,000 as the value of this one. So here, this is known as unrecorded asset. Okay. Otherwise, we can think it this way. Value of accrued income is increasing. Earlier the value was 0. Now the value is becoming 8,000. So it is also increasing. So asset value is increasing will be profit if any unrecorded asset is there. Unrecorded asset. It means in the balance sheet it is not there. But in the after the admission, in the new balance sheet this will be there. So unrecorded asset that will be profit. Then we can go to what are the loss. Then loss will be if a value of asset increasing, if that is a profit, then its opposite will be if a value of asset is decreasing, value of asset decreasing, then that will be loss. For example, in the balance sheet, the value of a particular asset is 80,000 and new value that we found it is 50,000 only. So this is example of value of asset is this sign, it is coming down. Okay, it is decreasing. So this is example of loss. Okay, so if value of asset is increasing, that will be profit. Its opposite will be value of asset is decreasing, that will be loss. And if any unrecorded asset is there, that will be profit. Then profit is not completed. And we can consider one more loss regarding the liability. Suppose one liability is given in the balance sheet. Suppose the balance sheet, the liability is given 30,000. And the new value that we found it is 40,000. The meaning of liability is this is the money payable to outsiders. We have to give this much money. So according to our old balance sheet, the value payable is 30,000 and we found that the new value is coming 40, means 10,000 more we have to pay. So this will be a loss. If a liability is increasing, then that will be an example of loss. Then opposite of this will be if a liability is decreasing, that will be profit. So here the liability, if it is a decreasing, then for example here it was 30,000 in the old balance sheet and the new value we found that it is 25,000. So here this is a new value, this is the old value in the balance sheet. So 5,000 it is decreasing of liability will be profit. Then here unrecorded liability is there. Okay, unrecorded liability, that is also loss. Unrecorded liability. Suppose the unrecorded liability means the old value will be 0 and the new value is something 20,000 something, then it is known as unrecorded liability. It means in the old balance sheet there was no liability in that name, but in the new balance sheet we are considering a new liability, that is known as unrecorded liability. So these three cases are loss, asset is decreasing, liability increasing, unrecorded liability. These all are the three cases for the loss. And for the profit there is 3 cases: asset increasing, unrecorded asset, okay, unrecorded asset, then liability decreasing. This is the case of profit. Then these items, asset increasing, this you are taking this side, and this loss items, this you are taking in the debit side of the revaluation account. Okay, so this way we are preparing the revaluation accounts. And we know it is a account, it is a ledger account. Ledger account, we are doing the posting of the journal entries. So when we are making the posting, this side we are writing by, and this side we are using to. It means some journal entries are forming. Whenever we are taking this in the revaluation account, their journal entries are forming. This also when you are taking in that ledger account, journal entries are forming. So that entries will be when the value of asset is increasing, we have to debit that asset. By means debit. If value of furniture is increasing, now the journal entry, listen, entry will be furniture we are writing here. The entry will be furniture account debit, credit will be revaluation account. If a value of building is increasing, then here we are writing building, by building. And the journal entry will be building account debited to revaluation accounts. Then, if accrued income is there, then here we are writing by accrued income. Okay, what is the name of the asset is given, unrecorded asset is given, that you are writing here by that asset. Then entry will be, if it is investment, then here we are, investment is not given in the old balance sheet and it is given a new item, then we are writing here by investment. Then journal entry will be investment account debit, heading will be credit. Okay, investment account debited to revaluation accounts. If a liability is decreasing, then here we are writing the name of the liability. Suppose the creditors are decreasing, by creditors. Okay, then entry will be creditors account debited to revaluation accounts. Then the same way, this side when we are writing, journal entries are forming, and here if asset is decreasing, the journal entry will be revaluation account debits to that assets. Okay, revaluation account debited to furniture, like that. Then if liability is increasing, this one, liability is increasing, then here we are writing the name of the liability. Journal entry will be revaluation account debited to that particular liability. Unrecorded liability is there, entry will be revaluation account debited to that particular liability. So these are the journal entries. Here we have to write the name of the asset which is increasing, name of the liability which is decreasing, unrecorded assets. Here we are writing the name of the asset decreasing, name of the liability increasing, unrecorded liability. These things are writing in the revaluation accounts. Then after that, if the credit side we are taking the profit and debit side we are taking the losses. If a profit is more than this side, if this side is more, then we are getting a profit. Last result of the revaluation will be profit, and that profit will be shared by the old partners in the old ratio. In the admission case, there are three ratios are there. One is the old ratio, another one is a sacrificing ratio, then new ratio. So this revaluation's result, this will be shared by old partners in which ratio? In old ratio. Then the journal entry for that, journal entry for closing the revaluation accounts, or if a profit is coming, last the result is a profit, then the journal entry will be, then this side will be more, and here we are writing the partners capital, then journal entry will be revaluation account debited to old partners capital accounts in the old ratio. If this side is more, then difference is coming here. Here we are writing by capital. Then journal entry will be, if a revaluation account shows a loss, then journal entry will be old partners capital account debit to this revaluation accounts. Okay, so this is the journal entries related to revaluation accounts. Then for example, and by using this, many questions are there. Afterwards, we will go to some questions. Now, to make you understand, I am taking a small illustration question. 2-3 items only I will show you. Here, one balance sheet is given in the question. Okay, one balance sheet is given. Then, after that, this is the before the admission, this is the balance sheet. That is mentioned, the following was the balance sheet of Anurag and Bhavana, who are sharing profit in the ratio 2/3, 1/3, means 2:3 is the old ratio. Then balance sheet creditors, these are the capital of old partner, then these are the asset. Then on 1st April 2018, they agreed to admit Monica into partnership on the following terms. Monica was to be given 1/3 share in profits and was to bring 15,000 as a capital, 6,000 as a share of goodwill. When that parent is bringing the capital and when the goodwill is bringing, that journal entry we already studied. Now, that the value of stock and plant and machinery were to be reduced by 10%. This is a revaluation. Now we can see they are telling about the value of stock. Then stock we can see in the balance sheet. What is the value of stock? 20,000. Then here it is saying that the value of stock and plant and machinery, so another asset also, this also, were reduced by 10%. Value first it is reducing. So where we have to show in the revaluation accounts? Asset decreasing, that will be loss. Okay, asset decreasing will be loss. Loss we are taking in the debit side. So in the revaluation account, this side we have to write the name of the asset. So here the writing will be to stock. Then the other one is to plant and machinery. Then the amount. What is the loss? That amount we have to take. Not the value which is given the balance sheet. Not the new value. We have to find out how much profit or loss is there. That amount only we are writing. Here it is saying that reduced by 10%. That is why 10% of this stock, that will be 2,000 we are writing here. And the plant and machinery is, the amount is 35. It's 10% will be 3,500. Then this point is over. Point B is over. The next, that a provision of 5% was created for doubtful debt. Provision for doubtful debt will be a liability. Okay, and this provision we are creating on debtors always. So here the 5% of this 9,700, that will come 9,700 so 5%. 5%. So it is coming 485. So this 485 will be the value of provision for doubtful debt. Okay, provision for doubtful debt is what? It is a liability. And we can see in the balance sheet that liability is not given anywhere. Provision for doubtful debt is not given in the balance sheet. Okay, provision for doubtful debt normally it is subtracting from the debtors. Alternatively, this we can see in the liability side of the balance sheet. Anyway, that provision is a liability. So no liability is given the old balance sheet. Now they are telling that 5% of the debtors will be, we have to make as a provision for doubtful debt. So a new unrecorded liability is arising. Okay, so unrecorded liability, where it is coming, unrecorded liability is a loss. So loss is coming this side. So here the writing will be to provision for doubtful debt. Provision for doubtful debt. Then the amount will be, that we calculated, that is a 485. 485. Then next point, this D, that the building account was to be appreciated by 20%. Appreciated is the opposite of depreciation. Okay, depreciated. So it means increasing. So the value of building we have to increase. Then building, the value is 50,000 here. 20% we have to increase. It means 20% of 50,000 is 10,000. So here the name of the asset we are writing here by building. Then how much profit is there from the building? 20% of this 50, it is coming 10,000. Now that point also over. Okay, so this point B, C, D, these all are the revaluation. Next point, investment worth rupees 1,400 not mentioned in the balance sheet were to be taken into account. What did you understand? It is an unrecorded asset. Unrecorded asset, where it is coming? It is coming on the, it is a profit. So that is coming here. So here we are writing by the name of the asset. Name of the asset is given investment. So it is an unrecorded asset. Example of unrecorded asset is this one, investment. What is the value of investment? It is given 1,400. So 1,400 we are writing here. Then another point, that the amount of goodwill was to be withdrawn by the old partners. Goodwill's treatment we studied earlier. Accordingly, that treatment, it is not coming in the revaluation account. This we are treating through that journal entries we studied, that goodwill treatment, accordingly that you are passing. So regarding the revaluation, in this question this much informations are given. Now we can see what is the result. So we can see this side is more. So this side the total is coming how much? 11,400, and that we are bringing here 11,400. Then from this we have to deduct this side 11,400 minus this 5,500 minus this 485. Then we are getting 5,415. This is the answer we are getting. Then this amount we have to distribute among the partner. Which partner? Among the old partner. In what ratio? In old ratio. So here we are writing 2. This is a profit or loss. This side was more. Okay, this side we are taking the incomes, profit we are taking, and this side we are taking losses. So here profit is 11,400 and losses are this much. Then this side is more, that is why this is the result. Profit is the result. Then this is going to partnership capital account. Here we are writing the name of the old partner. Here the old partner's name is, earlier I read the name is Anurag. So to profit transferred to capital, we are writing to profit transferred. Okay, or we can write a profit on revaluation, that we can write. After that down we are writing their capital name. Here Anurag we are writing Bhavana, and Anurag will get the profit sharing ratio as a 2/3. So he will get a 2/3, and the next partner will get a 1/3, and this we will divide here how much amount is coming, like that. Okay, so with this our revaluation account is over. Then afterwards, after the revaluation account we made we have to make the capital accounts. If this we studied in fundamental chapter how will be the capital accounts. Okay, then if a revaluation account is a profit, that will come this side. Okay, this side we are writing by revaluation accounts. Then in the old partnership capital, that 2 amount will come. In case of admission, when you are making the capital accounts, here in this question new partner is joining. So here we need old partners are 2 and 1 new partner. So 3 amount column is required. And revaluation is a result. If a profit is coming, we are this side we are writing by revaluation account. What is this partner's share? This is the partner's share. If a loss is there, in the revaluation account the loss is there, this side we are writing to revaluation accounts, and their respective share will come. New partner will not get this share of revaluation accounts. Okay. And now we can see what are the journal entries that I explained. What are the journal entries required for the revaluation of assets and liabilities? Okay. With the help of example I explained. Then once again it is given in the textbook page number 3.36. Okay, 3.36-37 it is given. So that a journal entry also we can see once again. And before that, last year we studied the rule for debit and credit. Okay, there are some rules are there for debiting and crediting, and we studied accounts are classified into 3: real accounts, nominal accounts, and personal accounts. So this classification, these 3 classifications are coming according to traditional approach or English approach. Then according to that approach, the debit and credit we are deciding in this way. For the real account, the rule is debit what comes in, and for the credit what goes out. This is the rule for real accounts. Then for the nominal accounts, debit all expenses and losses, and credit all income and gains. It is not loss, it is gains, income and gains. Then next, for the personal accounts, debit the receiver, credit the giver. This is the rule which you studied last year. Then another approach also there, that is known as a modern approach or American approach. According to that approach, the accounts are classified into 5. Here it is classified into 3 head only. but here it is classified into 5: assets, expense and losses, capital, liabilities, income and gain. These are the different heads. Then here the debit and credit we are deciding this way. If we want to increase the value of asset, this sign shows upward, that is why it is increasing. If asset we want to increase, then debit it. If asset value we want to decrease, then credit it. And for expenses, losses also, the same rule we are using. If we want to increase the expenses and losses, then we have to debit. And if we want to decrease, then we have to credit it. Then for capital, liabilities, income and gain, we are using the same rule for all the three. Here, if we want to decrease the value of capital or liabilities or income and gain, then we can credit that particular item. And if we want to increase the value of capital, liabilities, income and gain, then we have to credit it. Whenever we are crediting, these values are increasing. So this approach also you need to study, because sometimes we can apply this rule to understand why one particular account is debited or credited. This rule will be, this is the for the beginners only, this rule. This is a traditional approach or English approach, and this is a modern approach or a American approach. Okay, so this rule also you just note it down. Then we are going to see what are the journal entries required for the revaluation assets and liabilities. And here for explaining, I am using both the approach. Which approach is easy, then that only we are using. Then here first of all, here first transaction. For decrease in the value of assets, then for decrease the value of asset, then asset is a real account, then the rule will be, if we are using this American approach, asset value is decreasing. So to decrease the asset, we have to credit it. So the journal entry you can see, we have written there 2 assets. Okay, 2 asset is written. 2 asset is written because the asset value we have to decrease. For decreasing the asset value, we have to credit it. Okay, then another thing, for making the revaluations, we are opening a new account. That account name is a revaluation account. And I told the revaluation account is a nominal account. And for deciding revaluation account, we have to debit or credit. Then revaluation is a nominal account. So nominal accounts rules will be applicable. Then this is the rule for nominal account. There debit all expense and losses, credit all income and gains. And here asset value decreasing is a loss. Right now, the asset value is decreasing, that will be loss. So what you have to do? This nominal account we have to debit it. The name of that nominal account is a revaluation account. That is why our entry is coming this way. Revaluation account debited to asset account. Here or profit and loss adjustment account is given. This is the alternative name of revaluation accounts. So I hope you understood why revaluation accounts is debited and why asset is credited. Then the second one, for increase in the value of asset. For increase in the value of asset, here if asset value to increase, we have to debit that asset. Okay, and if you are thinking about the real account, asset is a real account, then if you want to increase the asset should come into the business, then also we have to debit it. Debit what comes in. If value of asset is increasing, it means that much value of asset is coming into the business. That is why that asset we are debiting. So this is the explanation according to traditional approach. According to modern approach, if to increase the value of assets, this is asset, to increase the value of asset, we have to do debit. So the entry will be asset account debit. And why we are crediting the revaluation account here? Because the revaluation account is a nominal account. And for the nominal account, the rule is credit all income and gains. So here the asset value is increasing, means it is a gain for us. That is why we are crediting that revaluation account. Then for increase in the value of liabilities, if a liability is increasing, it will be loss. That is why revaluation account is debited. And here liability, to increase the value of liability, we have to credit it. That is why here 2 liabilities is coming. Then next one, for decrease in the value of liabilities, decreasing the value of liabilities, then we have to debit the liability. And another thing, that will be gain for the business, so we have to gain, if that is coming in the nominal account. So credit all income and gains. So here nominal account we have to credit it. So the entry will be liabilities account debited to revaluation accounts. And here unrecorded asset and unrecorded liability also, that entry is not given. If it is there, in case of unrecorded asset, that asset we are debiting and the revaluation account we are crediting. And for unrecorded liability, we are debiting revaluation accounts and we are crediting liabilities accounts. Then after that, here two more entries are given there. This is the closing entry for the revaluation accounts. Revaluation account, sometimes credit side will be more. If a credit side is more, it is given. When revaluation account shows profit, it means if a credit side is more, then the entry will be revaluation account debited to old partners capital accounts. And if a revaluation account shows loss, this means debit side is more, credit side less. Then this entry is coming. That entry is old partners capital account debited to revaluation accounts. So this is the journal entries. This way we are deciding what account we have to debit and credit. Okay. Then our next topic is we will solve practical questions later. Now our next topic is treatment of accumulated profits and losses. This one, accounting treatment of reserves, accumulated profits or losses. Then here I am giving some example of accumulated reserves and accumulated profit examples I am giving. You can notice this one, reserve, general reserve, reserve funds, profit loss accounts. These all are the example of reserve and accumulated profits. Okay, these are the example for reserves, accumulated profits. Example is this one. And for accumulated losses, these are the examples: advertisement suspense, advertisement expenditure, deferred revenue expenditure, profit and loss account. Here profit and loss account is there. You may be noted that here also profit and loss account is there. So this is coming. These items will be given in the question in the liability side of the balance sheet. Okay, so these items are given in the liabilities. This will we can see in the liability side of the balance sheet, and these items we can see in the asset side of the balance sheet. Then, if a profit loss account is given on the asset side, it means it is a loss. If a profit loss account is given on the liability side, it will be profit. And sometimes here CR we can see. If a CR is given, then definitely it is accumulated profit, and sometimes its bracket DR will be there, profit loss account DR, then this is accumulated loss. Then now it's journal entries. These items are created by the old partners. When the new partner is joining to the firm, we can see some items which is there in the balance sheet. This is reserve, general reserve, reserve fund, profit loss account. These are the profit of the before admission of the new partner. So this will be distributed among the old partners. If a question will be silent about its distribution, but always before the admission, when the new partner is joining to the firm, these items we have to distribute among the old partners. Clear? Then this we will divide in which ratio? This all we will divide in old ratio among the old partners. Okay, this will distribute in old ratio. Then where it will come, or what will be the journal entry? These items are coming in capital accounts. These items are coming this side. Then the entry we can read. If a general reserve is there, entry will be general reserve account debited to A's capital, B's capital. That will be the journal entry. In another way, general reserve is a credit balance item. When we are distributing that general reserve, that credit balance item we have to debit it. Okay, so general reserve we are debiting, and capital account we are crediting. Entry I told general reserve account debited to A's capital, B's capital. Then according to this rule, here I just now I told you the rule for debit and credit according to American approach. See the capital. If you want to increase the amount of capital, what we have to do? We have to credit the capital. So that is right here. When we are taking the general reserve here, entry will be general reserve account debited to capital. To capital means a capital account will be credited. So when the profit we are dividing among the partner, general reserve we are dividing among the partner, their capital should increase. So it is coming here that entry I told, once again I am telling, for the each items the journal entry will be, if a general reserve, this reserve is there, entry will be reserve account debited to old partners capital accounts, and for this item general reserve account debited to old partners capital accounts, for this reserve fund account debited to old partners capital accounts, and this one profit loss account debited to old partners capital accounts. Okay, that is the journal entry. Then for these items, advertisement suspense, advertisement expenditure, deferred revenue expenditure, profit and loss accounts, these items, these first three items are also known as fictitious assets. Okay, these three items is also known as fictitious assets, and this should be distributed among the old partner. Question will not say anything like the value of asset is increasing or liability, the creditors are reduced by 10,000, like that. In the question nothing will be mentioned regarding the treatment of this general reserve and these items. Then also when the new partner is coming to the firm, accumulated profit should be distributed among the old partner. This also should be distributed among the old partner. Okay, now what will be the journal entry for distributing this among the old partner? This will be debit balance items. For distributing this account we have to credit, and when we are distributing the losses among the partner, it is going to their capital, then capital is decreasing. So the entry will be, or this item is going to capital account at this side. So this side we are writing to advertisement suspense. What will be the journal entry? Old partners capital account debit. Old partners capital account debit to advertisement suspense. Then capital account we are debiting. According to this rule, it is very clear. Capital account, when the losses are distributing, capital will decrease. To decrease the capital, we have to debit the capital account. So the entry will be old partners capital account debit to advertisement suspense. In the capital account, that will come this side. In what proportion, what ratio it is distributing, that will be in old ratio. Okay. Then journal entries are given in the textbook. That the page number will be, I am not writing here. The entry for that accumulated profit will be here. Accounting treatment of reserves and accumulated profits, the page number 3.41, that you can read there. Okay, it is given 3.41. The treatment of accumulated profit is there. Next page, treatment of accumulated losses also there. Okay, refer the textbook also. Now something more regarding this same topic. These two items, you can read this item. I written here provident funds. It is a employees saving account. Actually here reserve fund is there, it is accumulated profit, but the provident fund is not accumulated profit. Its treatment is not like that. Okay, this you are treating as a normal liability. When we are distributing these items, don't touch this one. It is entirely different from, it is not the profit of the firm. It is the provident funds, means it is payable to the employees. It is a liability only. It is not a liability. It is a profits share there. Profit is kept aside. That is these items. It is not a profit. It is a liability to pay to the employees. That is why if a provident fund is given, do not distribute among the partner. And another one is sometimes employees saving account is there, or employees saving fund is there. This also we cannot distribute among the partner. That is also a liability. Normally students are distributing this among the partners by taking it as accumulated profit. That is wrong. That is why especially I am telling about this two item. Okay, so this two item is not accumulated profits. If this provident fund is increasing or decreasing, its adjustment we are doing through revaluation accounts. Okay, that's only. Then some more items. Workman compensation reserve, contingency reserve, investment fluctuation reserve. This item also in some questions we can see in the liability side. Okay, these items we can see in the liability side of the balance sheet. These items are known as specific reserve. Specific reserve means it is created for a particular purpose, not a common purpose, only for a particular purpose. And its treatment will be, for example, suppose a workman compensation reserve is given in the balance sheet, it is 20,000, and at the time of admission, in the question it is saying that the actual liability for workman compensation is 8,000. Then in the 20,000, 8,000 we will retain in the business. Then the remaining amount 12,000, this we can distribute among the partners. That is the common thing I am telling. We will study deeply about this one. The common thing is specific reserve. The treatment will be like that. How much amount is there in above the actual liability? Here actual liability is 8,000, but the reserve 20,000 is there. How much extra money is there? 12,000 is extra. That 12,000 will be distributed among the all the partners. So this much all I am telling now. The rest of the things when we are solving the questions I will tell you. Okay. Now we are going to solve one question based on this one. Means treatment of accumulated profits and losses. And one more thing you listen. Regarding its treatment, the question will be silent. These items will be there in the question in the balance sheet, but they will not say that this we have to distribute among the partner and this we have to distribute among the partner. Question will be silent. Then also the treatment will be always this one. This is going to old partners capital account in old ratio. Here we can see one question. Question 41. 41. Kushi and Suki are partners in a firm sharing profits in the ratio of 5:4. On April 1, 2020, they admit Muskan as a new partner and the new ratio is agreed at 3:2:1. On that day, there was a balance of 63,000 in the profit and loss account and a balance of 45,000 in general reserve. Record necessary journal entries. So two items are given. Profit loss account balance is 63 and general reserve balance is 45,000. And the journal entry they are asking accumulated profit will be distributed among the old partners. Then the name of the old partners are Kushi and Suki. So the entry will be, then we can think in this way. Profit and loss accounts, general reserve both are credit balance item. When we are distributing this credit balance item, we have to debit it. So the entry will be profit and loss account we are debiting. General reserve also we are debiting. Old partner to Kushi. Kushi is the capital. Then to Suki's capital. Then profit loss account is given 63. General reserve is 45. Old ratio is given in the question. It is a 5:4. 5:4. So this amount we have to distribute 5:4. The total of this two amount is 63 plus 45. Total is this amount. Then 5:4 means 5:4. So 5 upon 9. 4 upon 9. This will be their respective share. This divided by 9. Then we are getting 12. 12 into 5 is 60. Then 12 into 4, 48. This is the journal entry. Narration will be accumulated profit distributed among the partners. This will be the narration of this transaction. Okay. Now next question also we can see. This is the question 41. Listen, earlier last day we completed that goodwill is, I think this much questions 36 or 37 somewhere we completed, and this is 39, question number 39. This for writing the journal entry for revaluation of assets and liabilities. This topic if it is required we will see later. Topic means this journal entry, if it is required I will teach you later. Okay, now we can see one more question from the accumulated profits and reserves. Question number 42. A and B were partners in a firm sharing profits in the ratio of 7:3. On 1/3/2020, they admitted C as a partner for 1/6 share in the profit of the firm. They fixed new profit sharing ratio as 3:1. The profit loss account on the date of admission showed a balance of 20,000. It is a profit loss account. Here the bracket it is given credit, that is why it is there in the liability side. Then it is accumulated profit. If nothing is given in the bracket, then also it will be credited. But if a debit is given, then only it will be accumulated loss. The firm also had a reserve of 1,50,000. C is to bring 40,000 as a premium for his share of goodwill. Showing your calculations clearly, pass necessary journal entries to record the above transactions. So here, first thing is we have to find out the sacrificing ratio. That means why? Because here goodwill entry is there. So question number 41. First of all, we are going to calculate sacrifice ratio. All the ratio is given. All the ratio that is 7:3. Then new ratio. New ratio that is 3:2:1. New partner is C. C share is 1/6. Now sacrifice. Sacrifice of A. What is the formula for sacrifice? Old minus new. So A is a sacrifice. A is old ratio is 7/10 minus new ratio is 3/6. Then LCM will be 30. Then here 321 minus 15. So 6/30 is coming. Then sacrifice of B. Old share is 3/10 minus new ratio is 2/6. This LCM that is 30. Then here 3 into 3 9, and here 5 into 6 into 5, so 5 into 2 10. 9 minus 10 minus 1/30 is coming. It means he gain by 1/30. It means A only sacrificing. A sacrificed for the new partner and his old partner also. Okay, his co-partner is B. For him also he sacrificed. Means A only sacrificed. B he was gaining. That is why. Then do you remember what treatment we are making for the goodwill? Then the journal entry for the goodwill. New partner is bringing the premium. So entry will be bank account debited to premium for goodwill. This entry we studied earlier. Bank account debited to premium for goodwill. How much amount they brought, that is we can write there. It is given. C is to bring 40,000 as a premium. Okay, so this is a 40. Then next entry will be this premium we have to distribute among the old partner. Old partner means among the sacrificing partner. So next entry will be premium for goodwill. Premium for goodwill debits. Then this partner B is gaining, that is why B is capital account also we have to debit. B is capital account debit. Then 2A is capital. Then premium for goodwill amount is 40. Then this B is capital. B is capital account we have to debit with his share of total goodwill. 40,000 is a new partner's share. The total goodwill will be, to get the total goodwill we have to multiply 40,000 into reciprocal of new partner. New partner's share is 1 by 6. Its reciprocal is 6 upon 1. Now we are getting total goodwill. This into what is his gain? Gain is 1 by 30. So this is the amount is coming. 40,000 into 6. This is the total goodwill of the firm. This is divided by 30. So 8,000 is coming. Here 8,000. Then one thing we can check it. A is capital. Actually A is sacrifice is 3 upon 30. So total goodwill is 3 upon 60 he should get. Okay. So this 8,000 is only 1 by 30, and it's 6 upon 30 means this into 6. So 48 is coming, and this is total also coming 48. So 40,000 brought by the new partner, 8,000 to compensate the old partner. He also should adjust 8,000 from his capital. So totally 48 is coming. A is capital. So this is the entry for goodwill. Then what is remaining? That accumulated profits, the journal entry is remaining. Here accumulated profit only. In this question accumulated loss is not there. So like this journal entry, one entry also required. That entry will be, we can debit a profit loss account. Profit and loss accounts, debit general reserve, debit old partners A and B. Here we are not checking that B is gaining or not. This we have to distribute in old ratio. That is why B also will get it. 2A is capital. 2B is capital. Then profit loss account given in the question is 20. Other one is 1,50,000. 20,000. 1,50,000. Then total is coming 1,70,000. Then old ratio 7:3. So this is divided by 10 into 7. So 1,19,000. This is for A. Then 17 into that is 3, no? Yes, 51. So that it is entries are over. This is the answer of that question. Then question 42 is over. Then next treatment that we can see next day. So you study all the entries of revaluation and accumulated profits, the journal entry you study. Next day we can study the treatment of specific reserve. Okay, thank you.